What is up, guys, and welcome back to Koi's Corner. Now, if you're part of the 99% of people that have been brought up with some sort of religious ideology or spiritual beliefs that you've been raised on and kind of made to found your life, this video is for you. We all know that religion exists. In fact, almost all of us are part of a religion. But there's a major difference between religion and spirituality. And in this difference, this conscious shift towards understanding not only ourselves, but the universe around us, the way it works, why we are here, has dramatically changed over about the past 70 to 80 years and moved more so towards spirituality from religion. But why exactly is this happening, and what does it all mean? To understand this, we must break down not only religion but spirituality as well, and then compare them and see which one really means more to the future evolution and adaptation of humanity itself, of the way we think, the way we live, the way we believe, and the way we treat each other. So with that being said, let's get right into this week's topic: religion versus spirituality. Now, religion at face value is a very rigid system. It is, in a sense, an organization of beliefs, of faiths towards a certain story or plot line. And these views relate not only to the culture we live in, the cultures of those religious communities, but to why we are here as humankind, what the meaning of life is, and how the universe began. And this is where religion mainly focuses on our origins, on the origination of us as humans, of our life, of what gave us the ability to exist, of what made us come to be. And these beginnings almost always revolve around a god, a centerhead figure, an omnipotent source in the universe that created us and dictates our lives and gives us rules to live by. And from these rules we get different religious morals, different religious ethics, different religious expectations for us to live by in our lives. And that is a major difference between spirituality, is that religion relies on belief, on blind faith. It has its own basis to belief through these gods, more so than facts in almost every situation. But the reason religion is so much more trusted and larger around the world is because religion began about 50,000 years ago, and it goes by something we call a cultural universal, something that almost all humans, while not born with genetically, are part of adaptationally. We kind of follow something such as a religion. Almost all humans across all eras of existence have believed in gods, have had a religion to live by, and so on. This all arose out of curiosity, of wonder, of fear, of excitement. Religion had answers that we could not answer at the time with science. It gave us stories to back up these ideas that we did not know how to answer. And these answers gave us comfort. They made it easier for us as humans to deal with what was going on versus just sitting there in wonder. Through this, religion evolved throughout the centuries. As religion changed and new religions arose and old religions fell, they used a lot of the same storylines, the same ideas, the same points, the same ideas of origins, from people to the gods to the demigods. They all kind of existed and were recycled throughout time, even up to the current religions we have now, such as Islam, Christianity, Judaism, and so forth. And from this, they became organized, they became political. Organized religion has become a massive thing over the past 1,000 years. But instead of helping humanity, it has sort of held us back. It has changed through times. We have seen this from the Crusades, from the Knights Templar destroying and creating the Dark Ages, to the rise of the Islamic State currently going on in the Middle East. These religions develop dogmas, and they eat away at us in our core understandings of what it means to feel empathetic and love towards other humans that don't believe in what we do. And if this is something you've never heard about religion before, I understand. A lot of us are sheltered from a lot of these facts and truths, and that's why we need to understand spirituality, because spirituality is a whole different realm than religion is in every way possible. And that's why it's becoming such a predominant factor, not only in the Western world, but the Eastern as well. It is overlapping religion and slowly starting to take over. And this is easy to understand from a famous quote that goes, "Any religious person can be spiritual, but no spiritual person needs religion." That really kind of sums up how much more progressive and realistic spirituality is to our daily life versus religion. Because spirituality has no one meaning as to what it means to be spiritual. It is different across the boards. It has so much more to it than just a basic idea and basic sentence to describe it. This essence of spirituality is not about blind faith, of just simply believing. It is about acting upon what we know about ourselves. And more than anything, it is about personal growth in all ways and forms, from physical to mental, from yoga to meditation to education, and so on. It continues down these lines. Anything that we use to progress ourselves in the way we think and feel and understand what's going on is a spiritual practice. And that's what makes it so beautiful, is we create these spiritual perceptions for ourselves to fulfill what we want to know. We think up ideas and ways that we can make life better for us, for everyone around us. And this relates not only to us, but to figureheads we see that have been praised through the centuries, such as the Buddha, Jesus Christ himself, Zen masters, and so on. These are not religious people, these are spiritual people who are simply preaching ways of making life better in all shapes and forms. Again, it is just a reinforcement of becoming the best you can possibly be. If you are focused and hardworking on what you can be, on the best possible you can create, you are having a spiritual experience. And this all started about 60 years ago after World War II. There was a sort of fallout from religion. A lot of people lost faith and they were confused and wanted more answers. People became more focused on personal growth than on faith and cult mentalities. And we can easily see this expanding and exploding in the 60s and 70s through the hippie movement, through the use of psychedelics to explore our inner self, and so on. It continues down that line. So much so that there even has been a title known as SBNR, or spiritual but not religious, to describe these people. And again, this is one of the biggest reasons for the massive rise of understanding Eastern religions such as Buddhism in our Western world, in our Western societies. We realize that things such as Buddhism, topics like this that focus on the philosophies of enjoying life and bettering ourselves, didn't need God stories behind it, didn't need fear behind it, didn't need a notion of heaven and hell to keep them going. It was simply a way they could transform themselves to live a better life. So now that we understand both sides, it becomes a little easier to see which one is taking over and which one is kind of corrosive to who we are. Essentially at this point, religion is Blockbuster and spirituality is Netflix. Now, I used to be religious. I was raised religious. I went to church every single week. I prayed, I believed in God, but this never really fit me. I kind of fell out of religion at a very young age, was angry for a while, until I discovered Buddhism, its philosophies more than anything else, and realized that the spiritual pursuit of life was much more applicable. So personally, I believe spirituality means far more to us as humans, to our lives, to the future progression of our evolution through this technological advancement that we are facing right now than religion ever will. Spirituality promotes empathy, love, understanding of those around us, of accepting them, of wanting to become one with each other, while religion promotes a lot of fear and scarcity of you must follow these rules or you will go to hell, you will be condemned, you will be stoned to death. All of these things arise from religious textbooks. Spirituality promotes a universal consciousness, an understanding of us all being one on an atomic level, on an energetic vibrational level, that we are all interconnected from me to you to the galaxies hundreds of millions of light years away. While religion divides us, while religion tells us if we do not believe in one story, that everyone else who does not believe in it will immediately go to hell simply for not being raised in the same hemisphere, simply for not knowing what that religion is. It tells us we must stick with those who are part of our religion and preach to those who are not. We must pull them in to what we know instead of letting them live their lives. Spirituality is independent. It is you. It is your experience. It is my experience. It is only our personal subjective reality. While religion is what's known as blind faith. It is putting your faith in God, putting your faith in these stories that you've been raised with, in these books, in these scriptures. It is not your existence. It is not your personal life. It is their way of wanting you to live theirs. And finally, the biggest point for me in understanding the difference between religion and spirituality, and which is more important, is questioning and science. And this is what happens when you listen to any teachers or spiritual gurus that want to talk about spirituality. It is all about questioning everything, about understanding the universe around you, about doing your research, about asking many questions, not only about ourselves, such as questioning what's going on in space, on the ground, with people around us, with automobiles, with our phones. It exists everywhere. Spirituality wants you to evolve. Spirituality wants you to continue questioning, to find your own answers, to do the research, to understand better, to live your life better. And religion is not. Religion is against questions. Religion answers questions with things such as it is God's will. The Bible is the way of the world. There are no ways around it. This is the main difference. I grew up asking thousands of questions, especially with religion, and I know thousands of other kids who did the same thing, and we were all met with, that is not a good question. Why would you ask that? Put your faith in God just because God said so. These are all reasons that religion uses to keep us in a box, to control us in the way we think and the way we live our lives, versus letting us go out and be free and create our own personality and our own belief system. It simply wants us to be part of something dying that was used in the past effectively to understand the universe, but is now falling out because we have science, because we have the internet, because we can question things, and in 10 seconds through Google, know what's going on, versus living a whole life of not understanding and making up stories because of it. So if this video seems one-sided, it is because I truly do think spirituality on every single plane outplays the importance of religion and always will, and will be more of a factor in our evolution and so forth. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and leave me a question or debate me on religion if you'd like. I love questions like that. I love talking about these sort of topics. They mean the world to me. And if you'd like, make sure to follow me on my social sites. I am always on them, answering questions, giving hints, so forth. And as always, I will see you guys next week.